Hey you guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Maria. If you're watching this video and you enjoy it, don't be shy, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for any future videos on narcissistic abuse recovery and complex post-traumatic stress disorder. Today I have a video for you on the 5 ways in which bullying when we were teens can then affect us as we are adults. So, bullying is a form of emotional abuse. And what is emotional abuse? Emotional abuse is anyone that manipulates you, gaslights you, makes you question your reality. Is what I'm thinking right? Is it wrong? I'm confused. What were we even fighting about in the first place? So manipulating, gaslighting, criticizing, putting you down, embarrassing you. So all of this is a form of emotional abuse. Well, doesn't this sound just like bullying? And today, 1 in 5 students report being bullied. In my day, we didn't even have cyberbullying when I was in high school, but I can't even imagine the pressure and the bullying that takes place now, because cyberbullying is also a part of the mix. So it's not just at school. This is so tough. So if we're talking about 1 in 5 people reporting being bullied, we have a lot of hurt people walking around who are hurting people. Because if not everyone is feeling their feelings, processing their feelings, and moving the feelings through their body, then they're definitely walking around with a lot of unresolved hurt, pain, anger, resentment, and that's not good. So let's move into the 5 different ways in which bullying may be affecting you as an adult had you have gone through it when you were a teen. So the first way in which bullying may be affecting you now that you're an adult is by having something called emotional flashbacks. So an emotional flashback is not a visual flashback with what you may think of if somebody has PTSD, but an emotional flashback is a feeling that you may have had in the past. Let's say someone bullied you and you felt a lot of embarrassment. You're now at work and someone embarrasses you, whether intentional or not. That may not just be a surface wound. That may be a core wound that's living down beneath inside of you. So that embarrassment that happened to you at work can trigger an emotional flashback. That emotion can remind you of the emotion that happened to you in the past that you felt when you were bullied. That situation in the past, the feelings you had when you were bullied, can now come into the present as if this abuse is happening in the current present time. So the emotional flashback means that you have an emotion in the present. It triggers an emotion that you had in the past. You then feel as if you are back in that same situation. This emotional flashback does not just come in and come out. This can last for days. This can last for a while because you're now emotion is provoked from a time in which you were abused. All right. So it's just going to depend on if you understand and you realize that you're not in the past. These feelings are from your past. You're now in a safe place. But it's just a matter of, are you noticing that? Do you know that what this is that's happening to you is an emotional flashback? So the second way in which bullying when we were in high school can show up in adult life is with social anxiety. Do you notice that when you're in a social setting, you have different signs of anxiety? You have shortness of breath. Do your thoughts change? Do you think, is this person looking at me? Do these people not like me? Do I sound stupid? When you're speaking to someone, do you disassociate? Do you tune out? Do you not hear what people are saying to you? Are you very nervous? Do your palms sweat? Do you have the symptoms of anxiety when you are in a social setting? Is it hard for you to even leave your house to go anywhere? And where does this come from? Well, if you were bullied in high school or any time in your life, This may be stemming from that time period where you were around a lot of people. You may have been shamed, you may have been embarrassed, and so in turn you isolated and you went into a safe place that you created for yourself. So that is your safe place, and it's no longer safe to be in a crowd of people. But this is just you thinking this because of something that happened to you in your past. Like I said, in your present time, you may be safe. So this is another core wound that you may want to work on. So the third way in which bullying from high school or your younger years may show up in adulthood is with self-abandonment. I don't know if you felt abandonment in your childhood in one way or another. Maybe you had friends in school who you thought were your friends and you found out they weren't your friends, and you felt that really core wound feeling of abandonment. Well, a lot of times when we go through that as teens, we then self-abandon as adults, and we're doing that because it's what's comfortable to us. All right? This is what we know. So a lot of the things we pull from our teen and our childhood into our adulthood is because it's what we know, we think is comfortable. So self-abandoning can look like people pleasing. Do you notice that you say yes to things that you might not have time for? You might not want to do them at all, but the other person's livelihood, the other person's opinion means more to you than your own well-being. Making them happy means more to you than your own happiness. Does this sound familiar to you? Because this is what self-abandonment is, and bullying is so isolating, right? Like, when you are bullied, sometimes you don't even tell anybody. You just retract into this place of just protecting yourself and doing whatever you can do to save yourself, right? But on the other end of it, you have people in school who you're just dying to get them to like you. So a lot of times we abandon who we are as people to make other people happy, to gain the approval and the validation from other people. And we take that with us into adulthood, and the name for that is self-abandonment. All right, so the fourth way in which bullying when you're a teen can show up in your adult life is through something that we call toxic shame. So toxic shame is when someone shames you, but you take what they said and you attach it to your identity. You believe it to be true about yourself. So if you were a teenager and you were bullied and you walked into a room and someone said, "Ew, who's that girl? She's so ugly. You're never going to get a date to prom. You're never going to make the team. You're not even good at sports." This may cause you to believe these thoughts about yourself of, "I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough. I'm not going to find a husband when I get older. I'm not going to make it on that sports team." You may have believed things about yourself that actually weren't true. They were just somebody shaming you. You take that, you believe it to be a part of your identity, and you take it the whole way into your adulthood. And the final way I have for you today on how bullying in high school carries over into adulthood is with this vicious inner critic. We can carry this vicious inner critic of, "I'm not good enough. I'm never going to succeed. I'm not going to get that job. I'm not making good enough money. Everyone's doing better than me. I'm a loser. I'm a mess. All of this that goes on in your mind on this loop in your brain. This is your subconscious telling you things that other people either said to you. These are outside voices, either said this to you at some point or made you feel this way at some point. All right, so you've internalized these things and you're telling yourself this over and over again. Your brain is now on a loop. It's your subconscious mind. So what you need to do is reprogram your subconscious mind to think things that are better than how you feel, so you can change this loop up that's going on in your mind. But I just want you to understand that this vicious inner critic that you may have in your head could be coming from words or ways in which people made you feel when you were being bullied in school. And just because you're an adult doesn't mean you leave all of that behind. Our brains are so smart, right? They're tricky, and they're going to carry that information not because they hate us, but because they think it's keeping us safe. It's what is comfortable and safe to our brains. So it's up to us as adults to reprogram our subconscious mind to think thoughts that are better than how we feel until we feel better. All right, guys, so all 5 of these things I explained to you today are all symptoms of what is called CPTSD, which is complex post-traumatic stress disorder. CPTSD comes from long-term emotional abuse. This is definitely bullying. So this is abuse, emotional abuse that happens over an extended amount of time. If you notice any of these symptoms and you go to a psychiatrist or a psychologist, I would definitely mention complex post-traumatic stress disorder, and don't overlook the fact that you were bullied. That is valid. You went through that, and these are feelings that you actually need to feel and not ignore, process, and move through your body so that you no longer need to deal with this vicious inner critic anymore, telling yourself these terrible things, self-abandon, people-pleasing, social anxiety, right? You don't have to deal with all these things. These are things you can work through, but the name for them is important, and that is complex post-traumatic stress disorder. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching today. If you enjoyed this video, don't be shy, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel for any future videos on narcissistic abuse recovery and complex post-traumatic stress disorder. And as always, I wish you all the love in the world.